Hello and welcome back to the Charles Squared podcast. My name is Charlie Mason.
And I'm Charles Iverson. Welcome back, everybody. It has been an extremely long time since we put out our last episode. We haven't put one out since WandaVision, in fact. And I know you
Yeah,
guys,
it's
you guys have probably really been wanting to hear our thoughts on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we apologize for the extended delay. We do try to put episodes out every other week, but we both have other things going on. So sometimes it isn't too easy.
exactly. But we thought, what better episode to talk about than episode 5 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Absolutely incredible, great build, and it's setting up for an incredible, seemingly incredible finale,
Yes.
which I'm really excited for. So, Charles, what do you think about the series up to this point? You have any thoughts?
Yeah, I am actually really, really impressed with this show. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be anything special going into it. I mean, I was really, really hyped for WandaVision. I mean, obviously, this is a Marvel thing, and I like the MCU movies generally, so I was excited for it, but I didn't think it would really be anything special, but boy, was I wrong. Like,
Yeah, I remember in our list. Remember back in January, December, we made the list of the next 8 big MCU DC releases,
right.
and I had this one on my number 3 behind Spider-Man and something else. But I remember WandaVision wasn't expecting a lot, and this show
Yeah.
I was so excited for, and it held up to the standard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember where this was on my list, but I think it might have been a little lower than on yours. Obviously, I was excited for it, like I said, but
Right.
it really blew me out of the water because just the way they've developed the characters, even besides Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson, is incredible. And I know they couldn't have done that in a movie. Like, I think I was telling you the other day, this could have been a movie, but I'm glad it isn't because they would not have been able to develop the characters nearly as much.
Exactly. And the guy who plays John Walker actually recently just did an interview, and they asked him why this strange new 6 episode, 6 series format, and he explained to the fans exactly what you're saying. He basically confirmed, yeah, we wanted to focus on character development and not try to create new characters in a 2 3 hour span. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Marvel's
That's
motivation.
for sure
Yeah,
this show's strong point too.
right.
It
So
in my opinion, Sam really hasn't been the most interesting character in the past, and at the end of Endgame, obviously Steve wanted to pass down the mantle of Captain America to him, and obviously like I was more than fine with that, but the thing is we hadn't really seen him that much besides in the 2 Captain America movies he was in, and they hadn't really fleshed out his character, so I'm glad that they're doing that now before he truly takes on the mantle of Captain America.
I completely agree with you. All right, so do you wanna dive right in?
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, the other star of the show, of course, besides Sam, is Bucky, and he we see in the fourth episode, I believe, the flashback to the Wakandans curing him of this Winter Soldier programming that's been in his head, and now he has this journal that Steve was using when he came back to the present, and now he has it and he's using it to make things right with people that he wronged as the Winter Soldier. And I just think that's so intriguing that that's how he's dealing with this PTSD.
Right, and Sam, being a speaker for people who were actually recovering from PTSD in the past, gave Bucky kind of one of those pep talks when they were just hanging out in the backyard. He kind of hyped him up and was like, "Hey, maybe this isn't the best way to go about it. Rethink your strategy and approach it differently if you want actual closure." So,
Yeah, I think yeah, that's so cool. Like that's one of the instances in this show of these two very different characters who happen to have a mutual friend, just working together in unexpected ways.
Yeah, the mutual friend. I remember
Yeah,
they're walking away. They go, "We're partners, co-workers. We're just two guys with a mutual friend who's dead. So we're just two guys."
yeah, that's so funny. I mean, at that point, I think, they definitely are friends. They don't want to admit it yet. I mean, they were just building a boat together. I mean,
Right.
that's bonding.
That scene was that was incredible. Just the whole sequence of the community coming together, building the boat. The music was
Oh
awesome.
yeah, that is
It
something
was
that
just
they certainly would not have had time for in an MCU film.
exactly, exactly.
But it was great. I especially love the line when Bucky is tightening something. He uses a wrench, and then Sam's like, "Why didn't you use the metal arm?" And then Bucky's like, "Oh, I'm right-handed. I don't always think of it right away."
That's so funny, yeah. Okay, so moving on. Should we be sympathizing with John Walker?
Yeah, that is something that is a complicated question. I thought at the beginning of episode 2, they really focus on him a lot, and I thought, "Oh, wow, this is really a sympathetic character." When they introduced him at the end of episode 1, obviously I knew like he would kind of be a roadblock in Sam and Bucky's journey, but I also thought we were really supposed to sympathize with his character, but obviously he's kind of gone on this insane spiral throughout the series, so I'm not really
Yeah.
sure, to be honest.
I remember you telling me that you liked how they developed him in the second episode, and I was like, "What? Like this is the bad guy. You can't like the bad
Well,
guy."
it was just so
And that's not
unexpected.
true, right? That's not true. You can like the bad guy, but after this post-credit scene of him of John crafting his own shield, I think that changes things. After he killed that guy, uh, quote unquote, for Lamar, who did the guy didn't even actually kill him.
Yeah, yeah, he lied straight to Lamar's parents too
That
when
was
they
hard. That was a
asked.
hard scene.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I do think he really does feel genuinely bad, and that is an instance of something that is an instance where I feel sympathetic for him. I really do, even though obviously he's kind of gone off the deep end. I can still find those moments where I feel sympathetic for him. And Charlie, I guess I wouldn't say you can't develop a villain, because you definitely can. They did that with Thanos and Killmonger, but it's just the way they're developing John is very complex. You know,
Right.
like you don't
Right.
normally feel this kind of sympathy for him.
I agree. I agree. He has a complicated history. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, someone else that they really want us to feel sympathy for, though, who definitely has a complicated history, is Isaiah Bradley, who, I mean, his existence completely changes everything about the Super Soldier program.
Right. It's his story is incredible. What was it? Do we know the exact date? Like when the year that he was experimented on?
No, we don't, but it is implied, I think, that it's after Steve
Right. Yeah. I
Rogers
think
died.
yeah.
I know earlier when we talked about this, you thought it was before, but I think in this most recent episode, they made it clear that it was after. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, and oh my gosh, like his treatment was just horrible. And what I recognized immediately is they kind of mirrored Steve's story a little bit when uh, Isaiah went to go rescue POWs, and Steve did the same thing, except Steve was treated like a hero for that, and Isaiah was put into prison. I mean, that's
Yeah. I didn't make
horrible.
that connection. That's a great point.
Yeah, as soon as I thought of that, I was like, wow. And that's just one of the many instances of this show trying to take a stand on racial inequality, which is another thing that was completely unexpected from this show, in my opinion. I had no idea that they would be tackling such issues. I mean, that is completely different from Marvel.
Right. And I think they're doing a good job handling it too,
Yeah, they really are.
displaying it in an appropriate way. It's yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So after there's Isaiah, there's John, but we've kind of got three people that that kind of symbolize our Marvel's kind of targeting our sympathy for, and that is Carly.
Yeah. Um, you know, Carly is a weird character because
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I'm pretty sure they want us to feel sympathy for her, but I don't feel that much sympathy for her. I frankly I find her character kind of annoying. Um, just cuz like her cause makes sense. Her cause makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense from what we've heard. Things during the blip were great, nations were coming together, and then after the blip they want everything to go back to the same, which is actually, side note, something that is kind of relatable to now with people trying to recover from the coronavirus pandemic. But anyway, we don't actually get to see how great things were. We just get to hear it from her, and she may not even be reliable. But even besides that, like, I don't understand how she doesn't see the irony of her ways, bombing a building with people still inside when she's criticizing others for doing the same. I mean, it doesn't make sense. She's so annoying, in my opinion.
I agree with the not making sense part. She's annoying, but in like in certain ways she talks, I guess. No, but the thing that I find most interesting is that she basically accepted the fact that she's a criminal. One of her
Yeah.
members, that was the quote that got me this episode. One of her members came up to her and said, "Hey, criminals do that." And she goes, "Haven't you read the news? We are criminals." And she's kind of embracing that. She's going down a dangerous path. But another thing, she was so happy during the blip, and that scares me because that means Thanos could have been right. I just,
Oh my gosh, that's true. Like, I guess I understand that she might think things were better and things may have been better for her, but yeah, that's actually a really selfish point of view. I really hadn't thought about that though. Yeah,
yeah,
that's good. Uh,
yeah. So, another thing that happened at the end of episode four, uh, Zemo kind of escaped, but got him back in episode five.
mm.
First 20 minutes, I believe. That episode was just incredible. I kept watching it and watching it, and I was like, oh my God, this thing's never going to end. This is awesome.
Yeah, well, it was a long episode, but like it went by so fast. It left me really wanting more.
Yeah, but Zemo is kind of trick. Bucky kind of doesn't play a game with him, but kind of makes him think he's going to shoot him, because Zemo still believes that there's part of the Winter Soldier left.
Yeah.
Or at least he wants to believe that in Bucky.
I mean,
And Bucky shows him that there isn't.
yeah, and I think he definitely believes him by the time he's escorted back to Wakanda or wherever the Dora Milaje were taking him. But I I really like what they did with Zemo in general in this series. How, obviously he's a criminal. He's done really bad things, but he's got kind of this respect to him where he says he he did Bucky the favor of crossing his own name out of his book, and I do understand that there's kind of this nobleness to his character that we didn't
Yeah.
quite see when he was first introduced into Captain America: Civil War.
There's kind of this silencing, like humbling mutual respect between them. I don't know if that's what you'd call it. They
Yeah.
both done terrible things in the past, and they're moving on from that.
Oh yeah, and I think it's entirely possible that we could see more of Zemo as an anti-hero in the future.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah,
He's a great character, and MCU will not give him up this quickly.
yeah, I don't think they should. Definitely not.
Right, right.
Another character though, that's kind of unexpectedly shady in this series, though, is Sharon Carter, who is
Yeah, what the heck?
completely different from when we last saw her. Like, I remember seeing interviews before the show debuted, where I forget what her name is, but the actress was saying that the character would be a completely different Sharon in the series. She was not kidding. She is a stolen art dealer in
Yeah, that's
a bad part
crazy.
of town.
Yeah, from going from a lying shield agent pretending to be a nurse.
Yeah,
Maybe she was a nurse, we don't know. To then
a CIA agent, and then
CIA agent, and now she's here
yeah.
stealing art. What?
I mean, it kind of makes sense because obviously, like, she betrayed the government in Civil War, but I
Yeah.
mean, who knew she could have sank so low? And
She's got so much power though.
her aunt was Peggy Carter too, of
I
all people.
know.
Wow. I mean,
It's
I think
disappointing.
she'll be I think she'll be redeemed at some point through this series. I think
She's
she's gonna
pretty
be
cool. I
helpful in the
still
next
like
episode.
her. I
Oh
still
yeah,
like her.
yeah, I like her, but I think it's Bucky that says in episode 3, "Wow, she's kind of horrible now." I mean, I don't
Yeah,
blame him. Like, yeah, but
that's funny.
I've heard this theory that a lot of people think Sharon might be the power broker. What do you
Yes.
think about that?
She referred to the power broker, so I don't know if like she's in deep cover acting as the power broker and nobody, not even her closest associates, know that. But I definitely think it's a possibility with all the power and money she's accumulated over the past couple of years.
Yeah. So I think it's I think it's a possibility because I think it would make sense since there's that scene in episode 3 where she gets in the car with this other woman, and she says, "We've got a huge problem, actually, a few of them." And so I think, like, and that was after Dr. Nagel got killed, and obviously we know the power broker was using Dr. Nagel to get the serum. So I think that's good evidence that she could be. Also, they use the pronoun he when referring to the power broker. I know that's a trick that is actually commonly used in movies and TV shows, to trick the audience into thinking a character is a he rather than a she until it's revealed who they really are. But I think
Right.
that's a cheap trick, so I really hope that's not what's going on. But I I do think some interesting evidence though that I had actually just thought about like yesterday or the day before is that Zemo already knew about the power broker, but he was imprisoned after Civil War, which is around the same time that Sharon must have gone to Madripoor. So if Zemo already knew about the
Yes.
power broker before he was imprisoned, that would mean the power broker had to have been around before Sharon got to Madripoor. So
And long enough to establish dominance over the area.
exactly. So I think it still technically could be Sharon because maybe Zemo heard about the power broker from prison or something, but I think it's kind of unlikely.
Right. Yeah. Um, so let's move on to Sam.
Yeah.
Is Sam the Falcon or Captain America?
I think that he could be both, to put it simply, but
Hmm.
the thing is, he leaves his wings in what was it? What country was that? Somewhere in Slovakia, maybe. I don't remember.
Uh, yeah.
Well,
Okay, I know what you're
he
talking
leaves
about.
his wings with Torres. Um,
Yes.
so to me, I felt like that was part of him transitioning to becoming the new Captain America, especially because you see him training with the Shield. But I also feel like the title of the show is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and there's probably going to be another season. So I don't know if they necessarily want to put down the mantle of Falcon. So maybe he'll be the Falcon and he just uses the shield.
I think that's what it's going to be. I do not think he's going to take the name Captain America. I don't think he's going to wear the stars and stripes that Steve did. Not just because of Isaiah Bradley's talk, but because he has to learn to make decisions on his own, to kind of stand for what he believes in, and so forth.
Yeah. Well, something I did find interesting though is that the his nephews call him Uncle Sam many times throughout the series,
I did notice that.
and also his nephews are playing with the shield, and I think that kind of symbolizes what they're trying to go for there is that you know African Americans are part of America too, and even though they've had a troubled past in America, those stars and stripes are not just for white people; they're for everybody. And I think he'll still have the wings because that's what he likes to use, but I think he will don a more patriotic costume. I actually think that was what was in the case that we see at the end.
Really?
Yeah, I think the Wakandans made him a new suit in the American
Oh, that'd be
style of red,
sick.
white, and blue, and I bet it has vibranium wings too. But I bet it has the star on the chest, so he can be both the Falcon and the Captain America. And
That would be awesome.
what makes that even cooler is that even though it's a patriotic costume, it comes from Wakanda, so he's celebrating America while also honoring his African American heritage.
Right. I Another theory that I had was that maybe, well, somebody kind of brought this up to me. Jack brought this up to
Oh
me. He
yeah.
said, "Hey, what if the serum is in the case?"
Oh my gosh, wait, okay. That actually would make a lot of sense because they have the heart-shaped herb in Wakanda, which is essentially
Yep.
like a super soldier thing. So maybe they made a new super soldier serum with the heart-shaped herb.
Yep.
The only thing is, we saw the heart-shaped herb being burnt in Black Panther, but I feel like they could have just made more using T'Challa's blood, like they did with
Right.
the super soldier serum with Steve and Isaiah. So, oh my gosh, I think it's both a suit and the super soldier serum. If I'm being honest, though, now that you bring
Yeah.
that up to me, because I think there's definitely more than the serum in there, because it's a big
Right.
case.
And speaking of Wakanda, I know we talked about John making his shield, but we don't know what it's made out of. And I
Yeah.
am not sure if it's made out of vibranium.
Yeah, I at first I thought it might have been because how else how could he possibly think just regular metal could go up against vibranium? I mean, it couldn't possibly do that. But then like I noticed he was welding it together and I feel like you can't just weld vibranium, it's too strong for
Yeah.
that. So I don't think it's vibranium. I think he's more or less just making that as a symbol because in his mind he is still Captain America and the shield belongs to him.
Okay. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it though, we do see like Iron Man punching the shield before. So, I guess other metals like could withstand the vibranium, but I don't know. I feel like if the vibranium is being used offensively, other metals can only do so much.
Yeah. Okay, so what is the Flag Smashers plan? Let's go over it.
Yeah. So we're about to enter the sixth episode, and to be honest, maybe there's something I'm missing, but I feel like I still don't really understand what exactly they're trying to accomplish. Obviously, we know what their motives are, but we don't know what the plan itself is, right?
They're trying to stop the GRC from what was it? What's the GRC voting
They were
on?
gonna vote on the Patch Act, but we don't know
The
how
Patch
they're
Act.
stopping that, do we?
They go on Code Red? They like infiltrated the facility.
Yeah, they infiltrated the facility, but
I
then
think they said they were going to stop the vote at all costs.
I'm interested to see what that looks like. I was really disappointed that we got left off on a cliffhanger. We didn't get to see
Yeah.
that, and we didn't get to see what was in the case. So I'm really excited to see what happens in the
Yeah, they
sixth
got to build
episode.
this. this is going to be an incredible battle.
Yeah, the suspense is really, really killing me.
It's kind of like the end of every TV show we've done a podcast on up to this point.
Yeah,
The
that's
final fight in The
true.
Mandalorian,
Yeah,
final
absolutely.
fight in WandaVision, and now we're looking forward to a final fight in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, which I'm interested to see how John Walker plays into this final fight because he's kind of been removed from the action now that the title of Captain America has been stripped from him. But we don't know yet how that one character, oh, what's her name? I think her name was
Val.
Val. Yeah. We don't know
Yeah.
how Val is going to play into this yet, so we'll have to
Who
see
is
there.
that again?
She's a new character. We don't know much about her yet.
Okay, I thought she had been in it before, in the MCU before, but I wasn't sure.
No, well, yeah, they definitely made her reveal seem like it was some sort of like big cameo from something else before, but I'm pretty sure she hasn't been in anything. But
Okay.
I have heard that she was initially supposed to make her first appearance in Black Widow, so that's probably why like her reveal was built up like that. We were probably supposed to
Oh,
initially be introduced to her in Black Widow and then in this show.
no. That's what makes me mad that Black Widow was never released. That's why Marvel's pushing for it so hard.
They're not.
It's because it is the first. It is well. It's the first movie of the Phase 4 in
Yeah,
the
that's
MCU.
true. In my
So
opinion,
I
though,
bet you it does lay out groundwork for the rest of the series.
yeah. Well, it probably doesn't impact it that much, but in my opinion, though, like they should have just had it released already. Like obviously, they wouldn't get as much money, but I think they just need to get their stuff out there. They've got so much right now that they need to release. It's insane.
I know they're really backed up.
Yeah.
I don't. I do understand. They obviously Marvel has a reputation. Disney has a reputation, so you can't just release it whenever. But I am excited that it's going to be available on Disney Plus for purchase.
Oh man, I don't know if like that's I don't know how many people are actually gonna buy it on Disney Plus though. Like, I feel like if you really want to see it, you would just go to a theater because it's like $30 to see it on Disney Plus.
Is it really?
Uh, well, unless they lowered it, because I think that's what Mulan cost.
Oh my
I don't know if
gosh.
Raya and the Last Dragon cost that much. But yeah, that's what Mulan cost, I think.
Let's see. Oh my gosh. Yeah, for $30.
Yeah, see, I mean, if you have like a large family, you would actually like get a discount if you pay to watch it at home.
Exactly.
But if it's just like a family of four or less, or if you're just going by yourself, it's probably like better to watch it in the theater, especially like with the pandemic starting to wind down and like it's not coming out till July.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they should have done that already. You know, released it late last year or early this year to theaters and on Disney Plus at the same time. Then I think uh, that would have been a good strategy.
Yeah. It would have been. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not looking forward to that movie too much, but it might be good.
I'm still excited to see Scarlett Johansson rekindle the role of Black Widow one last time.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, her character was never super compelling to me. I feel like I learned all that I really care to know about her character from the Avengers movies, but we'll see. Hopefully, this movie changes my mind. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier definitely developed characters that I didn't expect, so hopefully, a solo Black Widow movie can do the same thing.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see though.
Yeah. So, based on where this conversation has gone, I think we're done talking about um, the Falcon and the
The
Winter
Falcon and the Winter
Soldier.
Soldier.
What a great few episodes, though, and
Yeah.
I cannot wait for the finale. We will do another episode covering the finale next week because I know we'll both be excited to talk about it. and I know you guys will be excited to hear about it. And hopefully, there will be a hint at a second season because I would definitely love a second season of this show.
I absolutely agree. I think Marvel did a great job here.
Yeah. So with that, I think we're going to leave you guys off. Be sure to like and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. That is the best way that you can help us out if you really like this podcast. Also, be sure to share with your friends if you think they'd be interested in this at all. That is another great way you can help us out and grow this podcast. Um,
And don't be afraid to recommend content because we're always open.
oh yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, definitely comment below if there's something you're interested in. I know a while back we did say we would be covering Zack Snyder's Justice League, and that probably is still coming at some point. We watched it a few weeks ago. It's just we've been kind of busy. It's probably going to be a
Yeah,
YouTube exclusive when that comes out.
yeah. But
Also, be sure to check out our blog.
yes, yes. Link should be in the description.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening, and see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.